Oh, it's no face movements. April the 24th, 2013. I'm bringing warnings and watches for our space weather and Earth activity and weathers. For April the 26th till April the 29th, 2013. And we got a lot of breaking news bringing you guys tonight. And I'm going to have warnings in my next video. Is going to be space weather for warnings for our planets and our activities in space that's moving faster than normal, our orbits. Alright, but before we get into that in our next video, let's get into the space weather. First off, we got warnings and watches for AR 1726. This is a major sunspot. If this thing erupts, it's a top class X class solar flare. You can see this with the naked eye when the sun is at sunset. And here you go, here's the video right here. I'm on the links at the bottom. But what's unique about this one is I don't think this is AR 1726 like they're saying, because this is all the way down the southern limb of the sun, while this shows it up in the north right hand of the sun. Alright, so I'm not quite sure what sunspot this is, but they're calling it AR 1726, so we're going to go for that. And warnings and watches for this, because the sun is moving out of orbit too. So we got warnings and watches for Sunday too. But before we get into that, we also got warnings and watches for 1728. It's going to grow, turn to an M, the X class. 1727 probably will get to M class before it turns around the sun. 1729 might grow to C class. 1723, we don't have nothing to worry about, folks. Alright, but the 1726, and I'm going to call it mysterious AR 1730 down here, because we got all the numbers. 30. Warnings and watches for X class. Alright, we look at the auras. Something did hit Earth, and it's a solar flare. Our Earth never moves on this image, but all the other planets move in the regular rotation of the planet. Alright, and our Earth right now is up here. As you can see, we just passed yesterday through a lot of solar flare activity. Here's the Earth. See, we just pass it to block it out. So I got warnings and watches for earthquakes, volcanoes, severe storms, even some possible blackout, because this was a strong aurora, as I'm about to show you guys in 1 second. Alright, folks. But we also got warnings and watches for 2 super coronal holes. Alright, folks. Warnings and watches for April 26th to 27th. I'm putting warnings and watches out for moderate to major earthquake, moderate to major volcano activity, moderate to major storms when the solar wind hits the Earth, because it's gigantic. This is the biggest coronal hole I've ever seen. It's 2 of them. Look how big that is, folks. That's a lot of solar wind heading right towards Earth. And right here looks like an explosion. Alright, let's move on. So back to this. So we did had a solar flare that did hit Earth. That's why our aurora views are crazy right now. You should have seen it last night and probably later on tonight. This thing was lit up red. Alright, we got Mercury out of control. Now it's moving even faster. It only took Mercury 42 days to go around the sun. Alright, and it takes Mercury 88 days. This thing is moving 2 times faster. So I got warnings and watches for Wednesday today. Alright, we're about to make another video for every single Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week. Alright, folks, till the orbit is back to normal, if that's gonna happen. And warnings and watches for each of these planets that are out of orbit, including our own sun. Our own sun is out of orbit. These sunspots are moving way too fast. And the reason for this is because of the elliptic galactic plane, as you can see up here. Alright, this is where the elliptic galactic plane, in January, February, we didn't see no solar activity, barely, maybe a couple C class. It's because we're on this side of the sun, where it's blocking the elliptic plane. Alright, folks, so when it pulls in, it's pulling everything from the sun this way, including the sunspots. But once the gravitational pull started pulling on the sunspots, when it went over that limb, it blew it up. That's why we're seeing all these major earthquakes too. I put warnings and watches on No Face Moon before they delete my channel. I told you, when we start getting that April, the end of April, the beginning of May, we're going to see chaotic earthquakes. We're seeing chaotic earthquakes in Iran, China, around the Guam, around Papua New Guinea. We were seeing a lot of crazy stuff even down in South America. When we look at Venus and Mars, they're moving out of orbit too. And what's weird about this is Mars is going backwards. Alright? I mean, Mars is literally going backwards. Alright, folks? That shouldn't be happening. Alright? When we move on, you see all the energy from our ionic sphere. So I got warnings and watches for Central America all the way up to South North America, around California, Arizona, Texas, all Central America, all of South America. Alright, folks? When we go to space weather last night, you can see all the activities that went through our ionic sphere. Alright, so we did get hit by a solar flare. Not no solar wind, solar flare. Our solar winds would be above, would be one constant level of signal, while solar flare goes like this. Alright, when we look, we can see Venus is super bright. The reason for that is because it's moving faster. Over here, you see, I'm not quite sure what this is. I think this is Mercury. I'm not positive. It might be something else. Alright, folks, so we're going to keep watchful eye on that. When we go to stereo B, that's coming up next, you can see all these super sunspots. We got a whole bunch. So warnings and watches for the next 2 weeks for a lot of solar sunspots and possible a lot of solar flares and a couple coronal holes. Alright, in the north and the middle coming up. Another one. And then when we go behind that, 2 to 3 weeks, we're about to see a lot. We might see 2 super sunspots. That's going to be unbelievable. But we still got a lot of other sunspots. When we go to HARP status, we can see it's light, it's low to medium HARP activity on the east coast, the northeast, Central America, and southwest on the west coast. All right, but this was on April the 22nd. I'm waiting for the update. Trust me, this is much more severe. Some put warnings and watches for south of California, south of Nevada, southwest of Utah, and on the west coast of Arizona and the south. All Central America and all the Northeast. When we go to the IPS, I'm putting warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquakes. First, you got to take this in a vice. See this black line? It's called assessing. So anything on this black line, we might see a major, moderate to major earthquake. It's going through to South America. It's going through north of Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, south of India, and through the middle of South Africa. So warnings and watches for that. But right now, I definitely got warnings and watches for south of the United States of America from east to the west coast. Warnings and watches for all Central America. Warnings and watches for severe to major earthquake for all Central America, from Mexico down, all Venezuela, all Colombia, all Brazil, all Bolivia, all Peru, all Argentina, all Chile for the next 24 to 72 hours, reaching all the way out to Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands, all the way to New Zealand and the east coast of Australia. So be prepared, folks, for the next 24 to 72 hours. When we go to RSOE, let me scroll down. My websites later on are going to be updated, guys. So I'm going to start doing blogs too. We ain't got nothing to worry about any close approaching asteroids or minor planets. On 4/22, we had the Sanatorium volcano in Greece. We move up today, 4/24, state of California, Long Valley Caldera. 4/22, Europe, the Figaro volcano. And that's it for right now. Let's scroll up and see anything else. Yep, that's it. No tropical cyclones yet, but we're going to be coming up with tropical season for the United States of America soon, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get into earthquakes, because we're seeing a lot of earthquake activities. We had 8.0 in Iran. It might come from HARP, because it was the day after Boston. And World War III, we're on the brink of it. I'm gonna bring you a video later how China invaded India. I'm just trying to find out if that's proof or not. We had a 4.2 in Chile, a 4.2 in Chile. We had a 5.7 Afghanistan, 5.7 Afghanistan, 3.2 Bolivia on a volcano. Then we had a 2.3 Alaska, 3.5 Chile on a volcano, a 4.2 North America, Alaska on a volcano, 4.2 Alaska on a volcano, a 2.2 Alaska, 4.5 Solomon Islands, 4.5 Solomon Islands, a 2.0 Nevada, 3.5 Chile on a volcano. We had 2.0 Alaska, 3.3 Caribbean, British Virginia Islands, 5.3 Solomon Islands, 5.3 Solomon Islands, 5.2 Vanuatu, 5.3 Vanuatu, both on volcanoes, a 3.6 Iran. We're going to see a lot of aftershocks. 3.4 South America, Peru on a volcano, 3.5 Turkey, 2.0 United States, Hawaii on a volcano, 4.1 Pakistan, 4.5 Pakistan, 3.3 Oklahoma. Alright, so warnings and watches on New Midge Fault Line. 2.1 Turkey on a volcano. 2.4 Alaska on a volcano. 4.4 Russia. 4.8 Russia on a volcano. 3.0 Chile on a volcano. 4.0 Greece. 2.1 Italy on a volcano. 2.6 Spain on a volcano. And we're seeing a lot of activity. We had volcano activities on the 22nd in Colombia. We're seeing a lot of weather today. We had earthquakes in Afghanistan that were big. We had extreme weather in Maui, flash floods in the state of Illinois that killed people. We had extreme weather in New Zealand. All the links are going to be at the bottom. Alright, folks. We had a techno disaster Bangladesh, forest Chile. Alright, folks. I want everyone out there, be prepared. Alright. When I come up here, I got warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquake anywhere in the Pacific Basin or Indian Ocean. But let's get down to the specifics. Warnings and watches moderate to major earthquakes for Alaska, for the west coast of Canada, east coast of Canada. Moderate to major earthquakes, west coast of the United States, New Midge Fault Line, the east coast, all the way up to Iceland and Greenland. Warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquakes next 24 to 72 hours. I'm going to say to the 29th for all Central America, all South America. Moderate to severe earthquake, all for Central Europe. Moderate to major earthquake from the middle of South Africa to the north. Warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquake, the Middle East region. Alright. Warnings and watches for moderate to major earthquakes, Japan, South Korea, North Korea, China, Mongolia, Russia, Thailand, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Australia, New Zealand. I want everyone out there, be prepared. When we come here, we don't see a lot of activity right now. Alright. We're seeing powerful cells, but we're not seeing humongous storms. Alright. But it's all going to change in the next few days. Around 26, 27, we're going to see the Greenland block back in effect as it's growing, and definitely the Russian block. Alright. We just had severe storms coming through Central America, the south, the northeast, and north Midwest. Alright, with powerful rains that's causing a lot of floods. We got another system that's coming. We're going to take a look at that. And another system that's going to be being pulled from the south. From the south up through the Gulf of Mexico from this system right here. That's heading right towards Spain, Portugal, France, Ireland, and Britain. You see all these severe lines coming through South America, central of South of Africa, and through the Indian Ocean and the Pacific region. So let's get into the United States real quick. Alright, we've seen the heartbreak in Central America. That's why we're seeing these storms. They're going to intensify in the next 24 to 72 hours as it passes Illinois, more floods. Also Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all of the Northeast, warnings and watches for flood watches. All north of the Midwest, warnings and watches, and North Central Plain for flood watches, severe thunderstorm. We got heartbreaks in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana, around Salt Lake City right here, down here in Arizona, and New Mexico. Alright, warnings and watches for the next system that's going to be coming ashore, getting pulled up, and it's going to come down from the north around the 29th, 30th. I want everyone out there, be prepared. Bug out kits in your home and your place of business. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Blogspot, Critterbox, on astrology and astronomy, or if you're on Mystiques, check it out. Please rate, subscribe for the latest updates. I'm bringing more update on the weather. Check out all our videos tonight. This is the No Face Movement. Moving to next time, facing off, and look at all these heartbreaks come right ahead for Illinois. So be prepared right here. Central America,